All right. I think we're live. We should be live on YouTube and LinkedIn. I'm just going to wait a minute or so to let people join and to get myself situated. Cool. All right. I see people are starting to enter the live stream. All right. So, whichever platform you're watching on, can you just give me a yes in the comments if you can see and hear me okay? Live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. Um, Hi, thank you. Perfect. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you for confirming. So we're good on LinkedIn, we're good on YouTube, and awesome. All right. So similar to last time, first of all, hi, hello, happy Friday. This will be my second time streaming live. The first one went really well. So similar to last time, hi Johnny. Similar to last time, you can drop a comment at any point, whether you're watching on LinkedIn or YouTube, doesn't matter. If I can answer it in the moment, I will. I'll stop and answer it. Otherwise, I will come back at the end and we'll do a Q&A and I will go through everyone's questions. Hi, Joan. Hi, Aaron. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So you probably already know we're here today to talk about using LinkedIn as a tool to land clients. So whether you are an agency owner like me or a freelancer or a consultant, I would argue that this can help most client-based businesses. You're going to learn something, okay? Like I said, we'll do Q&A at the end, but feel free to chat amongst yourselves whenever you'd like. And all right, so we'll just get started. Okay, so I've got a bunch of notes in front of me. The whole process of using LinkedIn to land clients, we couldn't possibly cover the whole thing in one stream. It's just too much. So if you want that whole process, you can come talk to me about my program. But my goal today is to kind of take maybe the next hour or so and try to give you some really concrete tips for how to leverage LinkedIn as a tool. Okay, so we're not talking about trying to be popular on LinkedIn, trying to go viral, which we all want to do. We all want to be popular online, but we're talking about using it to grow your business, to find your dream clients, and ultimately to earn more money. I can tell you right now, if you've watched any of my YouTube videos, you already know this. My one disclaimer is I have no magic tricks for you. Some people want you to believe that it's as simple as like you put a token in the machine and a client comes out. That's not how it works. I can't tell you how to go viral because by definition, you can't control that. So hopefully if you're trying to grow your clientele, then you're ready to put in the work. If you're not, I can't help you. If you are, then hooray. So LinkedIn, the good news is reaping the benefits isn't about going viral in the first place. It's not about being special. It's not about getting lucky. It's about using this platform strategically to form relationships. Okay, you're going to hear me talk about forming relationships throughout this whole thing. And that's because at the very core of landing clients is building relationships. Okay? It's not about making money, which I know is going to sound terrifying to you. But the thing you have to remember is that you can't directly control how much money you earn. That comes from finding clients. If you find clients and you give them what you want and you have a great relationship, the money follows. All right. So like I said, I know that's a mindset shift, but it's going to work in your favor. I promise. Build relationships, money follows very naturally. So I've got a bunch of tips for you, and we're going to dive right in with those. So the first tip I have, the first thing you want to make sure when you're using LinkedIn to land clients is that you are connecting with the right people. And this is for two reasons. So stick with me here. Now, if you're using this platform to grow your clientele, then you have to ask yourself, okay, who in this business would best understand the services that I offer? Now, depending on the size of the company, that could be a founder or a CEO. I've been able to do that with smaller companies. But in my experience with bigger companies, you benefit the most from connecting with people in your department. All right. So, using myself as an example, because I have a content agency, I'm usually looking for someone who deals with a brand's content. All right. So it might be a writer for that company, an editor, a director of SEO. So if I already know the company I want to pitch, I go look for people with those titles, or you can search for people on LinkedIn. You can search for companies or you can search for people. And you do this through LinkedIn's filters. The point is that I suggest you don't look at the company as the lead. The lead is the person who works for the company. And you want to find someone who's going to understand you. If you are a freelance web designer, you need someone in the web department or the IT department or even graphic design. If you are selling your email marketing services, you need someone in their digital marketing department. Even someone in the social media department, that's kind of adjacent. It's close enough. You would not, on the other hand, go to like a sales rep or a customer service rep. They don't get you. They're not your people. Why would they be? Okay? You need to be finding your people who are going to speak the same language. Now, I said there were two reasons this is important. And the second reason is that typically the way these platforms work is, when I say platforms, I mean LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all of them. They're trying to understand who you are and who you're trying to reach. Okay. They're trying to get to know you. And that's going to determine how they rank you, who they suggest you connect with, who you show up to. LinkedIn is no different. So the algorithm, every action you take on the platform and every interaction you have, even the tiniest ones, they are informing LinkedIn's algorithms. And you're telling LinkedIn who you are and who you're trying to reach. All right. So this is why you want to be specific when it comes to people you send invites to, meaning your leads. All right. So now when I tell you this, I'm not saying that you should never connect with someone who's not in your industry. It's not going to destroy your profile. But the reason I bring this up is because I've seen a lot of people kind of like spam, like send invites. They find a results page of people and they click, 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 click all the way down and they just send tons of invites. And usually the motivation behind this is people think, oh, the more connections I have, the better. If they're the right connections. Okay. So you want to be picky about who you're connecting to. And like I said, if you make other connections, it's not going to ruin anything. It's not going to destroy you. You just want to be mindful of the leads that you're sourcing. Be intentional. Be intentional. All right. Quality is always as important as quantity. In fact, I would argue it's a little more important, because if you send 100 invites to all the wrong people, it's not going to matter that you sent 100 invites because they were all the wrong people. Doesn't matter. Okay. And then just keep in mind that as you grow your network and as you post content over the weeks and months, because you got to be consistent, remember that you are slowly building your platform. You're building this little universe around you. And the goal is to position yourself as the expert, as the authority. So to do that, you have to be targeting a specific audience, not everyone. Everyone isn't a potential client. I know that's something else that can be hard to accept, because you think that By not reaching out to certain people, you are losing out on opportunities. But everyone's not an ideal client. Okay, so get specific. That was tip number 1. I'm just going to pause for a hot sec. Don, hi, Megan. Congrats on all your success. Thank you. That's very nice. Juana's here. Good to see you. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions yet, so we're going to keep going. We are moving on to tip number 2. I mentioned this a moment ago, but dang, so I can't add my mama on LinkedIn. You can add your mama. Yes, add your mom. Okay, sorry. So tip number 2 is use LinkedIn's filters. I brought this up a moment ago. It's something that even I underestimated how helpful they are because they save you a ton of time and they also help you get super specific. So I've said this before, LinkedIn is a search engine. All right. I've mentioned this on my YouTube videos a million times. So you use it similarly to how you would use Google. We know that Google is way more robust. We're not saying they're the same. We're saying they're both search engines. So in the case of LinkedIn, you can search a term, any term, and LinkedIn will give you a page of search results. Sweet. So that's why it's a search engine. But what's really cool is that you can start to play around with those filters to narrow down the results that LinkedIn delivers to you and help you more quickly and more accurately find leads you want to pitch, find people you want to sell your services to or companies. So sometimes what I will do is narrow down the results by location. So I will type in my niche or a sub niche. So I work in health and wellness. That's what my agency does. And so I'll type in one of those words or one of my sub niches like supplements, like fitness, like gym, the word gym. And then I will narrow it down using LinkedIn's location filter. Or I will type in a title, a job title, like editor or blog manager. And I will filter it from there to find specific types of people. And what's really interesting about this, and this was something that I noticed more recently, when you don't use filters, don't assume that what LinkedIn readily shows you is all it's got. Because what I found by adding even one filter was that it changes the results completely. And I have found potential clients that I would not have found if I had just stopped at the initial search without features. Okay. And really dig into those features. What I've told you, it's only a couple of them. You can search by keywords, industries, segments of industries. There are so many ways to play around with them. So think outside the box, get creative, and just know that there are so many potential clients hiding in those search results. And by using filters, you can find them and you can find them faster. Okay, let me pause for a minute. Don't treat LinkedIn like Facebook, noted. Yes, do not do that. I totally agree with you on being specific with your LinkedIn. Yeah, and whatever platform, whatever method of lead generation and client acquisition you're using, like this is one of the first things my students go through in my program is getting very clear on their niche, on their dream client. And it's because, and I know this is going to sound super corny, but I want to remind you, whatever type of business you're trying to build, if you are building a business, whether you're a freelancer, consultant, agency owner, whatever, why build a business around clients you don't like working with? So that's another reason I'm always telling my students, get specific, be picky. And I'm always telling people, pick a niche, get specific. Approach clients or potential clients that you look at their website and you're like, oh my God, I would love to work with them. That's how you build a business that you wake up and you're like, I'm excited to go to work. Okay. You can have both. You can have really good clients and make really good money and also enjoy it. It's not like an either or proposition. You can have both. Um, so should we remove connections that we took just to try to have a lot of connections? It's a good question. We can't say for sure how LinkedIn's algorithms would respond to that. My advice is leave it. Don't try to undo anything at this point because then you're kind of like unspamming. But I mean, if you go through and you unconnect with people, disconnect, wow, it's Friday. If you remove people as your connections and you're doing that in like large batches, it could still look like spamming. And you also have to remember when you take actions like that, it also could look like you're kind of like a bot because that's what bots do. People pay for tools on LinkedIn and other platforms to go through and auto connect. So you don't want to do any take any action that looks like that. So Erin, my vote is just leave it and just be better about it moving forward. Are you still based in Michigan? Yes, I am. Did we work together? Did we film together, Don? Are you in Canada? I think we know each other. We'll talk later. Okay. Okay, cool. You got it, Erin. All right, we're gonna keep going. So tip number 3, I'm bringing this up next because in this kind of like process that we're going through, this is the next thing that's going to come up for you. You're going to start finding leads. You're going to start using LinkedIn like a search engine. You're going to use the filters, and you're going to start keeping a list of people and companies that you would like to reach out to. Okay? You're going to start sending them invites. Do not cold pitch in the intro note. I get these all the time. You probably do as well, and they're horrible. Okay? So when you send someone an invite, you've probably seen that LinkedIn allows you to personalize it with a note, which is great. But too often, what professionals do is they will go in for the kill and use this to immediately pitch their services. And I get the intention, but it's way too soon. It's too aggressive and it's not going to work. You have to remember that these people are strangers, okay? And furthermore, nobody likes being blatantly sold to. To kind of illustrate this a little bit better, imagine doing that in person. All right? Imagine if I walked up to a complete stranger in a bar, which would never happen because I don't go to bars, and just stuck out my hand and was like, I'm Megan, here's what I sell and here's how much it costs. Yikes. So if you're not going to do it in person, don't do it online. That's not how we form relationships. See, there's like a common theme here. Relationships. You can absolutely personalize the note. That's great. But use it to quickly say hello and maybe explain why you are reaching out quickly. Sometimes I will write, hi, John, hi, whoever, looking to chat more about your blog. And that's it. Excuse me. That's all I say. Now, also keep in mind, and I believe this is only on desktop. I don't think this happens on mobile. This was a recent change that LinkedIn made. When you personalize that note, because you can opt to leave it, you don't have to personalize it. But if you do, when that person accepts your invite, it opens the chat box, and the note you left is like your first direct message to them. So if you choose to personalize the note, remember that it's technically the start of your conversation with them. And you want to keep in mind that whatever you say, they may or may not respond to it. So you want to say something that, like, if they don't respond, it's not going to be awkward for you to follow up because then you're sending 2 messages in a row. So that's why I tell you to keep it simple, keep it casual. Do not cold pitch in that note. Okay? So, I suggest you try, if you want to test this out, try what I say. Hi, so-and-so, looking to chat more about, your blog, your website, your social media, your email marketing, whatever. And that way they're going to know why they're getting an invite from you, but you're not hard selling. You're not pitching your services. You're just kind of planting the seed for the conversation you're going to have. All right. And also, full disclosure, probably half the time I don't personalize it. So, and honestly, like I haven't really noticed a difference. But it's one of those things that I'm like continually testing to see if there's a way we can kind of use those notes more in our favor. But whatever you do, for the love of God, don't cold pitch in the note. Don Beersketeer. I knew you. I kept looking at Don Borzon. I thought, I know this name. I remember you. And I remember that project. Oh my God, small world. Joan says, I once received an invite of someone trying to pitch me. Yep. You know what's funny? I feel like mean, but sometimes because I try to respond to everyone, but sometimes when I get those, like sometimes I'll be like, thank you, but I'm not interested. And sometimes I just ignore them. I feel bad, but it's like, it makes me cringe. Joan says, that was bad enough, but then he gave me a dead link and finished it off nonchalantly by saying, we don't really tolerate consultants. Well, that's a turn off. Yeah, don't send links either. That's a good point that you bring up. Don't ask someone to click on a link from a stranger. Too soon. Suffice to say, I didn't reply back. Yeah, I wouldn't either. That is not how you sell. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I know we're all in a hurry because if you land a client, you make money. But you're not going to force them to hire you. And you're not going to force them to hire you faster. You can't. You can't control what they're going to do. So talk like a human. Don't talk like a salesperson. Don't talk like a bot. Just start the conversation with the intention of, with the mindset of, I think I can help this company and I'd really like to talk to them. Not, I want to sell them my services and close them so I can make more money. It can be hard to wrap your mind around that. And I know even myself, like sometimes it's almost scary to stop chasing money because you think if you do, you're not going to make money. How could you? But we can't force people to pay us. What they're going to pay us for is solving their problems. So if you solve their problems, they will pay you. I feel like we kind of touched on that in the last live stream too. Okay, we're going to keep going. Tip number 4, ask for an intro. This is a little ninja trick that I feel like we don't use enough. Admittedly, I was always too scared to do this. I felt awkward asking, and then I just got over it, and it's been great. So if there's a lead that I'm trying to connect with and they're just not responsive, if I see that we have mutual connections, which we very often do, I will sometimes go to one of those connections and I will ask if they would be willing to introduce me. Does it work every time? No. Most things don't work every time, but sometimes it works. And actually, it kind of surprised me. A lot of people are happy to help you out. Like I said, not everyone will be, but a lot of them are happy to do you favors. Now, be very careful here. Don't ask them to vouch for you unless they really know you, because that puts them in an awkward position. We're not asking them to go to this person we're trying to reach and be like, oh yeah, Megan's great, because they don't know me. What we're asking for, what we're saying is, hey, I'm trying to connect with so-and-so because I'm really interested in working with them. Would you be willing to introduce us? I'm just asking for an intro. Building relationships. And, it's always nice to pay it forward. So if this person helps you out, it's nice to say thank you. And if there's ever a way I can return the support, please let me know. It's a two-way street. And one day someone's going to come to you for help. And if you can help, do it because someone did it for you. Let's see. Don says, you are a terrific host and your audience should pay attention to your advice. Thank you. FYI, I always thank the person as well when they accept my invite. As well, I let my profile be the lead if they check, if they want to connect. That's very, that's just good manners, I feel like, are so underrated. Little things like you said, I always thank the person as well when they accept my invite. Details like that cannot be dismissed. In fact, when my leads get back to me, because I always send a direct message after, I do the same. I thank them when they respond to me because it's so easy for people to just blow you off. I thank people who tell me no. I would rather be told, no, we don't need you at this time, than be ignored. So if I pitch someone and they say, yeah, we're just not looking for an agency right now, I say, thank you for letting me know. So little things like that really go a long way. And, just to kind of like echo what Don's saying here, kind of taking that extra step to just be a friendly, polite person is going to separate you from all the people who are just trying to make money, who are the sleazy salespeople. Just things like that. Nothing can compensate for just being a nice, friendly person with good manners. So really good point. Okay, I think we're caught up on comments for now, so I'll keep going. Tip number 5, you need to engage with your leads. Sometimes I get an eye roll when I bring this up because people are like, oh, it's going to take more time. I don't want to spend time on this. If you don't want to spend time on it, then you're in the wrong line of work, my friend. LinkedIn is full of people, millions and millions. I think the last number LinkedIn released was 800 million users. And it's full of content. And the amount of content being shared on LinkedIn is growing year over year. So like every platform, like the internet, it is becoming more saturated, more competitive. So it's really easy to be missed. It's easy for your leads to miss you on LinkedIn. Sometimes they just won't see you. They're just not going to see you. It's not their fault. You might get buried. You might get buried in their inbox, in their feed. So one really simple way to make yourself more visible to them is to engage with their content. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to their page, you're going to scroll down a little bit, and you're going to see their activity. You're going to click on that, and you're going to filter it by their posts. There are different ways you can filter their activity. Click on their posts, and you're going to see content that they've shared on their own page. All right? Like it, comment on it, always being meaningful. Don't just like. Engage with them with intention. So find a post that resonates with you and join the conversation in the comments and leave something thoughtful, not just nice post. If you're going to do that, don't bother. Okay? Now, when you do this, well, many things are happening, but the big thing that's happening is that they're going to get a notification with your name on it. And they're going to see that, and they're going to remember that you sent them an invite and that you sent them a DM, and they're going to go, oh yeah, that person wants to get back to me. So they're going to get a notification with your name. So you're going to put yourself on their radar again. Okay? But you're also showing them, hey, I'm really, really interested in talking to you. I'm not messing with you. I'm not just trying to get your money. I want to work together or talk about working together. So it's going to remind them, oh yeah, this person really wants to communicate with me. It's one extra step. Yes, it takes a little bit of time, but let's be real. You can find a post and comment on it in under 60 seconds. All right? It's a little thing, but it goes a long way. And remember what I said earlier. You are building the universe, your little LinkedIn universe. And like I said in the very beginning of this live stream, it is not as simple as put in a token and get out a client. Some people are going to try to tell you that it's that simple. Those people are probably trying to sell you a software or a tool. That's not how it works. That's not how you land clients anywhere, LinkedIn or otherwise. You have to build the relationship. All right. And I kind of already mentioned this, but remember that too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. Do not spam them. You don't want them to get 20 notifications that all have your name on it. If I got that, I'd be like, it's too aggressive and it looks fake. It doesn't look genuine. So once again, be intentional. I know I sound like a broken record. I've said intentional a million times, but it's because it's important. You want to make yourself more visible and more available, but still being authentic and still caring about quality. Lots of patterns here: quality, relationships, authenticity. These all matter. Let me pause for a second. Johnny says, I get a lot of messages that I can't even respond to. So I tell people if they really want to get a hold of me to leave comments on my posts, and it's easier to reply back to that stuff. I've never tried that. That's a very creative idea. Still engagement. Aaron says, hey, Megan, just got on, so not sure if you answered this already. If there are multiple marketing managers or directors for a company, how do you find the best one to message on LinkedIn? Great question. So let's back up just one step. When it comes to sending invites, send more invites than you think you'll need. So I tell my students to send 3 to 5. 3 to 5 invites to 3 to 5 people at the company. And the reason for that is because not all of them are going to respond. Now, let's say 3 of those people accept your invite. Who do you message? I do suggest you message one at a time, starting with whoever you think is closest to the department you would be working in. If you don't know, or if they all have the same title, just pick one. But the reason I say do it one at a time is because I don't know how often this would really happen, but like I will always tell you to play it a little bit safe. And if you were to message, let's say there were 3 marketing managers and you messaged all 3 of them at the same time separately, but like you sent out all those messages saying, I want to talk more about working together. What if 2 of them or all 3 of them get back to you and they're not communicating with each other? So then you're having 3 separate conversations with 3 people at the same company. It's a little weird to then go to each of them and be like, well, actually, I just messaged your colleague and I heard back from them. I'm not sure who to talk to. So do one at a time. I hope that helps. P.S. Thanks for answering my question on Facebook. You're welcome. Okay. Keep the questions coming. I will get to them at some point. All right. So we are on tip number 6, which is to take the relationship off of LinkedIn. So one thing I tell my students is that the goal of connecting with a lead on LinkedIn is actually to move the conversation to email. And that's because email is where the magic happens, okay? This is where you can have a real conversation. You can learn more about them, ask them questions, get more information, send them samples of your work. If they want to loop in some of their coworkers, they can. Can you do that stuff on LinkedIn? Like, yeah, to an extent, but it's physically, literally such a smaller space to be communicating, and it's not as collaborative. So think of LinkedIn more like a springboard that's kind of igniting the relationship, the conversation, but it's not limited to LinkedIn. So you might be asking now, which is a very valid question, why not just go straight to email? You could. And that would be cold emailing, which is what the last live stream was about. I've got a bunch of videos on it, so you can do cold emailing. This can work. I've used it a ton in the past. It's very different from what we're talking about right now, but it does work. That's how I landed my first clients years ago. And still today, I use it more so as a backup because it's a lot more of a numbers game and it takes a lot more work than what we're talking about. So it's not bad. It's just a different approach. Personally, I don't rely on it anymore. It's not what I teach my students because my method, which leans a lot more on LinkedIn, It's less of a numbers game. It's more hands-on. It's more manual, but we get better results. So you do have to put in a little more work up front, but our conversion rates are a lot higher. And to kind of give you, and these are my numbers, these are my metrics. I know that if I reach out to 10 qualified leads on LinkedIn, 10, I'm going to close one. Now, on the flip side, right now I'm testing a cold email campaign and I've sent about 90 emails and I have not closed one. So it can work. I'm not talking smack about cold emailing. It's just very different. Okay. But I do love it. That's where it all started for me. Let me pause for a minute because we're getting some comments. I jumped over here. Okay. Hello, Johnny. Any tips about sending the LinkedIn message after the lead has accepted your connection request? Yeah. I have a video on this. So similar to last time, the last stream, once we end this stream, the recordings will be up on both LinkedIn and YouTube, and I will add a bunch of links to some YouTube videos that I have that are related to what we're talking about. And I have one on LinkedIn messaging. So what I always say in that first message, I'll say, thanks so much for accepting my invite. I'm reaching out because X, Y, and Z. Because I'm interested in partnering on your blog, or I'd love to talk more about working together. Tell them why you're reaching out. And then if you're not sure if you're talking to the right person, say that. Say, are you the correct person to be speaking with? And they might say, no, go talk to this person. So you go talk to them. But, a good rule of thumb with LinkedIn messages, keep them brief, be concise, get to the point, but be polite and always move the relationship forward. One thing, I get a lot of these messages and I don't know who is teaching people this because I think it's a terrible idea. I get this on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. There's this thing where people will send you a message acting like they just want to shoot the breeze and they just want to talk business, like talk shop. And then very slyly, they pitch you. That happened to me literally today, you guys. Literally today. Someone sent me a Facebook message under the guise of let's just be friends. And I'm cynical now. So I'm like, yeah, we'll see about that. Sure enough, they did pitch me. I'm like, you got get out of my inbox. I don't want to talk about that. So don't try to mislead people. I know some people try to say that that's warming up the lead and nurturing the lead. I call that screwing with the lead. They're not stupid. Just keep it real, okay? Ooh, got a little heated. Sorry. Johnny saying the LinkedIn stream seems like it's freezing. I feel like we had issues with LinkedIn last time. YouTube stream is much better. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. If anyone's having issues on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube as well right now. You are going in more cold with emails, correct? With LinkedIn, I think it feels more personable. Exactly. And that's one of the reasons, I will never talk smack about cold email because 100% it can work very well. I honestly got a little tired of it because it's so much a numbers game. And personally, and I'm saying this now, I'm 5 years into my agency, about 5. And I'm always telling my students this, I want to enjoy my job, my career. I want to love my business. I want it to be something I'm proud of and something my team is proud of. And I want to work with clients I love. So that's why I take relationship building very seriously. And if I'm reaching out to someone on LinkedIn, it's because I'm genuinely interested in working with them. I've gone to their website, I've looked at their blog, and I'm like, oh, I love this. I want to work with them. So, going back to what you're saying, LinkedIn is more personable. That's what I love about it. It's this beautiful hybrid of professional and personal, which also makes it a great way to connect with people in a more casual setting, but still to work together. Like, it's the perfect balance. So, it's really easy in the beginning to be just kind of like money hungry and just be chasing down as many leads as you can. And I had more of that energy in the beginning. I was more willing to send an ungodly number of cold emails. But 4 or 5 years in the game now, I can tell you it does get a little old and you will start craving something real. So that's why I love meeting people on LinkedIn. It's real. You're going to form real bonds, and it's going to make your work very fulfilling. And if you're saying, well, I don't care if it's fulfilling, I just want to make money, I'm guessing you're new to the game, okay? Because it gets old. You want something you can feel good about. We're still human. Money is nice, but it doesn't make up for, like a lack of fulfillment, a lack of purpose. Those things matter. Johnny says, I don't respond to those messages. I think you're addressing what I was saying earlier. Yeah, no, what's the point? I hate when people add me on Facebook just to pitch me. When did Facebook become, you know what it is? I've gotten so many cold pitches on Facebook, on my personal Facebook, which I don't really use my personal Facebook for business. I don't use it much in general. And I noticed recently, I joined a bunch of Facebook groups to try to meet other business owners. And that was when I started getting a ton of DMs. And I'm even getting them from the owners of the groups. I didn't say you could DM me. Don't come. If I want to buy your stuff, I'll go to you. Get out of my inbox. It's like, I don't know, that the etiquette, there is none. I don't even open DMs that look weird or spammy. Smart move. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I said I tell people to talk to me in the comments, because it's much easier to see if they're weirdos and not even respond. You know what? That makes me think of something interesting, Johnny. You're right. People are a lot braver in DMs because no one can see them. So it's interesting that you're telling them, no, take the conversation to my profile, which is public and everyone can see it. And you're right. You make a very good point. You're right. I think it's going to make their intentions a little more clear. And you'll kind of see what they're really about, what their motivation is. So interesting. Whenever they add me and start asking me strings of questions about my business, I ghost them. Yeah, you're right. That's usually the red flag. That's how one of the owners, the managers of this Facebook group, he DM'd me. I've gotten multiple of these. Just welcoming you to the group. But when I was still like new to Facebook groups, I was like, wow, how nice. And he said, how's business? And I was like, business is great. Thanks for asking. God, people are so friendly here. And this kept going and going. And I thought this dude just wanted to like talk to me. Like, wow, so hospitable, so friendly. No, he wanted to sell me. He tried. And I was just like, well, you don't want to be my friend. So lesson learned. Is there a limit to the number of profiles I can view on LinkedIn to avoid getting marked as spam by LinkedIn? Great question. You won't get marked as spam, Joshua, but LinkedIn does have a limit to how many searches you can conduct, and it'll eventually cut off the results. And you'll see it's giving you a notification, and it's going to try to get you to pay for premium, LinkedIn Premium. And they'll be like, oh, it looks like you might be recruiting. They're trying to sell you one of their paid subscriptions. So in terms of searches, I have never, ever, ever heard of being marked as spam for conducting searches. They're just going to cut you off. Currently, in terms of sending invites, the limit is 100 a week, which is more than enough to land clients. I can tell you that. And then with things like, with other interactions like likes, comments, I don't think that's information LinkedIn has ever made public. Like, we don't know exactly what the threshold is, how much you can do before they're going to flag you as spam. I can tell you, I can't even remember the last time LinkedIn was like, oh, slow down, you're sending too many messages or whatever. Like, you gotta really be hitting it hard to kind of, raise that red flag. If you're focused on quality as much as quantity, you're going to be fine. That's the most concise answer I can give you. When I am reaching out to leads as an artist, whom should I reach out to, marketing or the CEO? Okay, so this is something we kind of talked about earlier in the stream. The recording will be up so you can view the whole thing. What kind of artist? Let me know. Just drop another comment because it's kind of hard to answer. I mean, generally, the bigger the company is, the less likely I am to go straight for the CEO or the founder because they're too far removed. The team is too big. They would get my message, and if they even read it, they'd be like, I don't care. So you want to go to someone who gets you, who gets your work, who understands your work, who knows the value of your work. That's going to be someone in a more immediate department. Hi, Megan. I get less connection accepted. I get less connection. Okay, so I think you're saying a lot of your invites don't end up getting accepted. Could you please share some thoughts from marketing agency perspective? So this goes for everybody. Not all of your invites will get accepted. Mine don't. They just stay pending. And then I think is it 6 months? After a certain amount of time, LinkedIn removes them as pending, and they're no one. Like, you would have to connect with them again. So that's why if you're using LinkedIn to land clients, you want to reach out to about 3 to 5 people at the company you want to pitch. Some will accept, some won't. Really, like, the only way you can screw up an invite is if you cold pitch in that note. Other than that, you really don't have much control over it. Other than pitching sending invites to people in your field. That we have reason to believe that could work in your favor, but it's really hard to screw that up. So you just got to wait for someone to accept. I know it's not the best answer, but we can't force them to connect with us. All right. You can keep dropping comments. I'm almost at the end of my notes here, but I did have some stuff I want to cap off with. Kind of to just reiterate, there's a few common threads throughout this whole thing. You've already picked up on them. I've also point blank pointed them out. Quality will matter as much as quantity, if not more. Okay. If anyone tells you that landing clients is purely a numbers game, you need to find someone else to take advice from because it's not true. You will never make up for a lack of quality by just doing it more. All right. Second thing, might be sick of hearing this, but it's important, so I'm going to say it again. Your priority has to be forming meaningful relationships. I said earlier, I know it's scary to stop chasing money because you feel like if you do, you'll never make any. I get it. That used to be me. Every now and then I still have that, like, I feel like I have my priorities wrong. But then I realized that having money as your primary motivator doesn't work because A, it's not something you can control, and B, it's not what your leads care about. All right. The clients you're trying to land on LinkedIn don't care about you making money. All right. So you can't force people to give you money, but what you can control is consistently reaching out to qualified leads on a regular basis and striking up meaningful conversations. That's something you can control. And if you do that, you will make money. It's a very natural byproduct. So focus on solving people's problems and the money will follow. Third thing, I said this is something you can't rush. And I also want to touch on this. You can't automate this. All right. We're going to come back to automation in a second. But talking about how you can't rush it. Most of us look at it this way. You're not going to meet someone for a first date and then propose marriage. Or maybe some of you would. I don't know. I don't know you. But generally, we don't do that. You spend time together, you get to know each other, and your relationship blossoms. This is how every relationship is, romantic or otherwise. And landing clients is no different. All right. So this doesn't mean that you need to spend weeks and weeks and weeks nurturing them. You can land your next client in a couple weeks. So it doesn't have to take forever. But it does mean that if you think you're going to go from 0 to 100 in 10 seconds, it's not going to work. Automating. Some people will disagree with this, to each his own. Sometimes people will talk to me about my program and they ask if I teach automation. And currently, I don't. Currently, I'm testing it out, not for the first time. I've tried it many times before. And like every time in the past, it is not working. The appeal is that automating the whole process, finding leads, sending invites, sending them messages, emails, you name it, whatever. It sounds nice because it's very hands-off. And some people, usually people who are trying to sell you something, will tell you, I can fill up your calendar with qualified sales calls, blah, blah, blah. No, they can't. No. Could you automate parts of this process? Sure. But in the context of what we're talking about, if you think you're going to have a machine or a software or a bot doing it all for you and it's going to work, it's just wasting your money. We're still talking about human to human interaction. You can't automate that. In terms of sourcing leads, you can go buy email lists. You can buy lists of prospects. You have no idea how they were sourced. And if it was ethical, you can get in trouble for that. You have no idea if the email addresses are even valid. Emails expire. Emails get old and crusty. They stop working eventually. You don't know if they've been vetted for quality. You have no idea what you're getting. And on top of that, if you purchase an email list or a list of prospects, other people are purchasing it too. So all of those people on those lists are used to getting hit up by people like you trying to sell something. I have looked for all of the lead generation tricks, trying to cut down on the time it takes. There are none. There are no tricks. But the good news is I'm coming to you as someone whose business is pushing $20,000 a month, and I did it without a single automation. This was me manually reaching out to people saying, hey, you want to work together? Okay. No fancy tools, no software. It was just me forming relationships. And based on how my current automated campaign is going, it's going to continue like this forever. I don't have any plans at this point of automating because it doesn't work. Sorry, I'm just skimming my notes to make sure I didn't forget to tell you anything. That was pretty much it. I'm always transparent about the way I teach client acquisition. What we've talked about today and what I teach in my program, it's manual, it's hands-on. But, the reason for this, like I've said, is that when you do it that way, you make client acquisition less of a numbers game and your conversion rate goes up. There are not many methods of this where you can reach out to 10 people and close a client. So is there a little more work up front? Absolutely. And I will never dismiss that. There's a little more work up front, but you get a bigger return down the line. So, I say this to give you kind of a word of caution. Just be aware when someone tells you that you can set up bots and automations and workflows and scraping tools and fill up your calendar with discovery calls on autopilot. I would love to believe that that's possible. And maybe in the future, someone will prove me wrong. I hope they do. That would be amazing. But odds are, as of right now, it's not the miracle cure they want you to believe it is. All right? Nothing replaces human to human conversations, interactions. Let me. Okay. That was the end of my rant. Let's see here. I'm just backing up in the comments so we can officially move on to the Q&A right now. Let's see here. Okay, so earlier someone said, if I'm reaching out to leads as an artist, whom should I reach out to, marketing or the CEO? And I asked what type of artist you were. You said 3D artist. I mean, wouldn't that be someone in like the tech department or the web department or like graphic design? That's who I would go after as a 3D artist. I don't know your field. I'm just trying to think about the types of people you would be working with within the company. And I feel like that's either tech, graphics, web design, like UX, UI design. That's who I would go after. Well, I guess it depends. If you're a 3D artist and you're creating marketing materials, then I could see you going to the marketing department. But I guess like it depends on when you say 3D artist, what you're creating. Or if it's all of the above, if you create all kinds of 3D art, this is something you'll need to test. Try connecting with marketing people, try connecting with like the web people, the tech people, and you're going to see eventually as you're testing, you're going to find patterns. This is how I learned. You try a million different things and you're eventually going to learn, oh, this works a little better than this. So I'm going to discard this and I'm going to double down on that. And then you do it again with something different. And you keep testing all these variables. And so in your case, as a 3D artist, you might have to try reaching out to different types of professionals. What's your current CRM, Megan, if you don't mind sharing? Not at all. I use HubSpot. I use their CRM for free. Full disclosure, I've been testing out other ones. But HubSpot's great. No complaints. Anything you'd like to share about LinkedIn ads? Yep, tried them, didn't like them. They just didn't do anything. Maybe other people had different experiences, but I'm very skeptical when it comes to paid ads in general. And because I've been able to make all this work without them, I don't run ads anymore in general. Maybe in the future, but not on my radar. Eric says, hey, Megan, what advice would you give to a writer in the B2B SaaS, software as a service, space? I'm looking for insights on how to create LinkedIn posts that engage potential clients. I was just talking to a student about this. That's funny. So when you're trying to come up with content to post on LinkedIn, you have to ask yourself, who am I trying to reach and what do they care about? So as a writer in the B2B SaaS space, SaaS can mean so many different things. So let's use the example of email marketing. Email marketing software is SaaS, right? And you're trying to get these people, these software, their attention. And simultaneously, you want to do that while like subtly letting them know that they should pay attention to you and they need you when you're a writer and you have something valuable to say. So you might be talking about why email marketing and writing go hand in hand. You make a post about that, why email marketing can't exist without solid writing. You can also, and this goes for everyone, you can go on LinkedIn, search hashtags that are relevant to you and see what other people are posting. Don't copy it. Use it for inspiration. But yeah, the best kind of like overall tip I can give you is you just have to say, what do they care about? How can I help them? How can I provide value? So as an example, I teach people how to land clients. So I sit down when I'm doing my social posts, my LinkedIn posts, and I say, okay, my audience is largely people who need help landing clients. How can I help them? What's a quick tip I can give on LinkedIn? So I might give them a tip about lead generation or qualifying your leads or using LinkedIn to connect with people. That's stuff they care about. I hope this helps. Yeah. KDC, marketing director, watches this video, content writer, sends an invite to the marketing director. Marketing director, Megan said to add people. That's not what is going to happen. Being sassy with me. Joshua says, one thing I have learned from LinkedIn is that you must have a mindset of service. Look for ways to have genuine conversations with your ideal clients, and the rest of the process becomes easy, in my opinion. Yes, exactly. I'm going to read this again. This is good. This just sums up everything we've talked about. Listen, Joshua says, one thing I have learned from LinkedIn is that you must have a mindset of service. Look for ways to have genuine conversations with your ideal clients, and the rest of the process becomes easy. Yes. It's fun. It's a lot simpler than we make it out to be. In fact, sometimes when people enroll in my program and I give them access to all the materials, they look at it and they're like, well, is this it? I'm like, yeah, that's it. And it's not that it's like easy. There's still a million steps you have to get in the right order. And if you don't get those steps in the right order, then it's hard. That's why so many people have such a hard time landing clients. They have bits and pieces of it, but they don't know how to put it all together. But what's interesting is that what you said, where'd your message go? Have a mindset of service. It doesn't need to be super fancy with bots and automations and software that does it for you and scraping email addresses. In fact, one of the last books I read, I can't tell you which one it was, but it said, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, how can I serve others? And I get it. I know that we all have kind of this natural, like we hear that and we're like, because we don't automatically equate service with money. And we all want to make money. Of course, that's why we're here. But I'm telling you, like this live stream, perfect example. This isn't making me money. I'm not getting paid for this, but I'm connecting with people. I'm meeting people. I know from the last live stream, a lot of us are going to have conversations when this stream is over. After my last live stream, I got a student. So it's stuff like that. The input and the output don't always like perfectly line up. It's not always like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then I'm going to immediately get a client or immediately get a student. But it snowballs. You're building your little universe. So Joshua, you said it perfectly. I use prospecting automation tool and it's been good, although LinkedIn restricted my account recently, so I had to shut all actions down since LinkedIn noticed I'm viewing too many profiles at a time. Yes, I'm glad you bring this up. Good for you for trying new things, but this is one of the downfalls to using third-party tools. So there are tools, there are software and tools that you can pay for, and you just have like a monthly subscription or whatever, and they will send LinkedIn invites for you. They will send messages for you, and every platform has this, every social media platform. But you have to be really, really careful with those because it goes against most platforms' terms of service to use third-party tools like that. And the thing is, when you're using those tools, you're going to be required to log in with your credentials for the platform. So you have your LinkedIn account, you have a third-party tool, and this third-party tool is going to make you log in through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn and this tool are integrated, and LinkedIn sees that. And then it sees that you're taking action through this tool. And again, this is all the platforms. This is not just LinkedIn. And they can suspend you, shut you down, limit your activity. Instagram's the same. Way back, God, it's so embarrassing to admit it now, but I tried it and did, like at the time I didn't realize it was like a no-no, it was black hat, but I had a tool that I had tried for my Instagram account years ago. And it was one of those who unfollowed me. And I was like, well, that's pretty handy. I can find out who unfollowed me and then I'm going to unfollow them back. So I did, and I was doing it through this app. But because you had to log in through Instagram, Instagram saw it and I got a little, like a warning error. I don't remember what it says. It was so long ago, I don't remember. But it was basically saying, stop doing that. They don't like it. That's how these platforms work. They want real, genuine activity. So, yeah, you got to be super careful with that. I thank you for sharing that, Joshua. I admire that you shared that and restricted your account. So it should be temporary then. Eric says, thanks, Megan. I'm definitely trying that hashtag tip. Yeah, that helps a lot. Yeah, use what you see for inspiration. Search hashtags or just keywords. LinkedIn is a search engine. So you're going to look up something and it's going to give you results. Or just, look at people you admire. And it doesn't even have to be someone in your industry. Sometimes I'll get a post in my feed from someone in a totally different line of work. And I like it and it resonates with me and other people seem to like it. So I'll think, okay, how can I apply this to me and to my field? And I will kind of use that to inspire content that makes sense for me and my audience. So if you're ever, stuck for ideas, that's a good way to do it. So Joshua's very kindly sharing his direct message process. Step 1, find conversation triggers on their profile to start a conversation. So he's looking for a way to start a conversation with them. Step 2, build reports. Step 3, sorry, it's hard for me to see my screen. Learn about their current situation. Step 4, learn about their future state. Step 5, learn about their obstacles and its effect. Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of how I do it. Mine starts on LinkedIn and then goes to email. But yeah, you're learning about them. You're asking them questions. You're taking an interest in them. You can't even know if you can help them in the first place if you don't learn more about them. You're going to run into leads you can't help. Like when I get students or potential students who ask about my program and ask me if I'll teach them automation. I can't help them. Same thing. When people come to my agency and they say, do you do email copy? No, we don't. Can't help you. That's okay. Okay. So from what I can tell, I've answered everything. But if I've missed you, comment again because we are good on time. I'm going to cut this live stream as soon as we're wrapped up here, but I want to make sure I don't forget anyone. So, and also, like I said, the recordings will be up on both LinkedIn and YouTube. You can comment, DM me, add me on LinkedIn if we're not friends yet. Send me a message, tell me you were here so I know how you found me. Reach out anytime. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. My TikToks aren't very good, but I'm trying. But yeah, okay, the chat's getting pretty quiet, so I think we're done for today. I hope this helped you. And even if you walk away with even one thing you want to try, one new thing you learned, then it was worth it. Feedback is always helpful. If you have thoughts on how I can make these streams better, if you have requests for future topics, I am all ears. Okay, Joshua just followed up with another comment talking about his direct messaging process. He offers them a freebie. He has a masterclass that leads them to booking a call. And he says, give value up front, guys. Value, value, value. Yep. Yeah. And you know what? I know some people are scared of providing free value because A, they're worried it's going to waste their time, which I get. And B, they're worried that people are going to steal their ideas and then not need to hire them anymore. There's absolutely a balance to be struck. I'm an example of that right now. We're on a live stream. I've been yapping for over an hour, telling you how to land clients. This is still a fraction of what I teach in my program and my coaching. So is this going to help you? Yes, I'm providing you value. Is there an opportunity for more? Yes. It's the same thing with you and your clients and me and my clients. I have lead magnets, free pieces of content. That's great. This stuff doesn't have to take you a ton of time. What have I tried? In the past, I can tell you one way of providing free value that ended up being a complete waste of time for me was free audits. Way back in the day, my agency started as a digital marketing agency. We don't do that anymore. We only write. But in the beginning, I did everything, or I tried to. And to connect with leads, I would create slideshow presentations, auditing all of their social media channels. Yeah, it took me hours and hours and hours, and I did not close a single client. That was very silly. Way too much time invested up front, and it didn't work anyway. So clearly, the way I was providing value wasn't getting their attention anyway. Not knocking you if you do free audits and you've made them work, more power to you. But there's a way to provide value without spending a ton of time and then giving away too much. You're not going to solve all their problems with like a free masterclass. You're going to hook them. You're going to give them a little bit, and they're going to be like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. But they're not going to not need to hire you. Your job's not that easy. There's more. There's always more. Good luck on your TikTok. Thank you. I need it. Wow, free audits. That must have been tough. There needs to be a qualification process up front. Yep. Now, if you're already talking to a lead and they're interested and the conversation has already started, and then they say, well, can you take a look at our profiles and, give us an idea of what you think? That's different. So my agency, we write blogs. A lot of my students are writers, and sometimes they get a little nervous because they'll be talking to a lead and the lead will say, give us an example of a couple topics you would want to write about if you worked for us. And they'll email me and be like, what if I give them my topics and they steal my topics and I never hear from them again? No, you don't have to worry about that. If they wanted to steal topics, it'd be a heck of a lot easier than having to communicate with you. They could just go steal something online, which is what a lot of people do. And B, the topics are like one of many things you do as a writer. They need someone to write, which is what takes the most time. So you don't have to worry about that. John says, thanks. Cool, you're welcome. All right. So we've been at it for like an hour and 15. My voice is going hoarse. So I'm going to stop the stream. Reach out anytime. I love talking to you guys. I love meeting you and hanging out, meeting you online. And I hope you like this. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever. And stay safe and love you guys. All right. I'll see you next time.